The funny thing is, I almost doomed us, Ratchford, because my suggestion to match wits with you on this comparison of disaster flicks, this intrepid episode of Combat Radio where we compare disaster movies, I was going to suggest The Swarm, but then I realized I have to fucking sit through it. And I just didn't want to do that. I've seen The Swarm. Once was enough. But we will have to. What's that?
I don't know The Swarm.
Okay, so you have to see it because, again, shot on the Universal backlot featuring a lot of our stalwarts. Richard Chamberlain. Richard Chamberlain never met a paycheck he didn't like. God bless him. And, you know, it's also, he's in there with scientist Michael Caine. So it's impression heavy. And then Richard Widmark. What's that?
Michael Caine.
Yeah. And you can't say Michael Caine anymore without people trying to do an impression of Michael Caine. You know, it's just one of those things. You have to do it. Like, it's like Dwight Fry when he says Dracula. Everyone has to take a crack at Dracula. But it also has, you know, some of our favorites. Richard Widmark, who plays Richard Widmark. Of course, he's like an Air Force general. And, you know, barrage of other people and sort of these cameos that they would do when they mapped out the poster and the title was made. The letters were from a swarm of bees, and you have the little titles, and it gets less and less important and prominent as you move down to, and also starring Lou Ferrigno as well. You know, in this case, it's people like Ben Johnson who have these sort of sidetrack relationships to the disaster.
Is that the one where they put the queen bee on a Volkswagen and they drive it into the Astrodome to lower the temperature?
Maybe it is. It's been so while since I've seen it.
Because I remember the bee phenomenon.
They kill it with sound, right? Is that okay? The audience is going to cannibalize us now that we don't even know the fucking ending of the movie we're talking about. But the truth is I didn't want to sit through The Swarm, but now I'm going to sit through it because we're mystified about the ending. So the reason I discovered The Swarm was I was actually at the drive-in for another movie. I was a kid, and Sgt. Pepper's with the Bee Gees was playing on one screen. And once you get past the opening battle scene of Sgt. Pepper's, the movie goes into like this disco trip, and I'm like, I'm not interested. But in those days, you could turn around in the back seat of the car, and out the back was The Swarm. And it was the scene that opens the movie where a military van pulls up on an abandoned military base, and all these dudes like in spacesuits and flame retardant flame throwing units jump out, and they're like, and you're like, I'm like, what is this behind us? Let's go see this. Anyway.
For more than 20 years, scientists have known that a swarm of killer bees has been headed towards the United States. Now, Warner Brothers presents Irwin Allen's The Swarm.
We have visual contact.
Identify.
A black mass, sir. A moving black mass.
We have been invaded by an enemy far more lethal than any human force.
Starring Michael Caine, Catherine Ross, Richard Widmark, Richard Chamberlain, Olivia de Havilland, Ben Johnson, Lee Grant, Jose Ferrer, Patty Duke Aston, Slim Pickens, Bradford Dillman, Fred McMurray, and Henry Fonda.
Get inside! Get inside! You understand? Quickly, get inside!
A story of courage and sacrifice.
Newman! Go, Brad, go! Move out!
Not since the 30s, when families by the thousands fled the Oklahoma Dust Bowl, has a thriving American community had to be totally evacuated. Until today.
Its size is immeasurable. Its power is limitless. Its enemy is man.
The war that I've always talked about has finally started.
Mile by mile, city by city, it moves, leaving in its wake a path of destruction.
For God's sake, Crane, when are we going to stop this massacre?
Irwin Allen's The Swarm. It is more than speculation. It is a prediction. The Swarm is coming.
Craptastic.
Hey, I'm Alex from Quiet Riot.
I'm Dizzy from Guns N' Roses.
I'm Johnny from Typo Negative. I'm Mike from what?
Help us cure NMOSD and with it, cancer.
Go to Guthrie Jackson Foundation and donate now.